What's up, people? Hi, I'm Zen. Maybe I'll go sit over there in a second because this talk is important. While I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts, check it out. Have you guys have seen this shirt before? I think it's an awesome shirt, and I'll go sit up and pretend I'm in a suit and tie and be professional and talk like this and speak adequately, precisely, succinctly, if you will, about a few ideas about sovereignty, uh, maybe maritime things, banking institutions, and why countries go to war and what countries are. Realize countries and the whole the whole landscape of it is nothing more than corporations. Being a freeman or a sovereign of the land uh, is is quite a bit different. And being a freedom and sovereign of the land that you maintain is contradictory to say the ideas of a world bank. That's the WB, a world bank. It'd be like saying that everyone works for Walmart at that point. That's what you do. You're an employee of Walmart. Let me go sit over here to explain this to you guys. And also give me a little bit of time to let some people show up so I can a little farther into this talk here. Welcome to my new. Oh, I wonder if. Oh, I might have to change the position of some things here. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Uno momento, por favor. Okay, cool. This is not as comfortable as my purple chair. And the echo here is a little strange, huh? Who's here? What's up, Patrick? Let me get this. I know, like if you're new here, this is the beginning of the show. You get to watch kind of behind the scenes, the 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 chaos before I actually make the show, and it gives enough people time to show up. Let me go grab my beer. Hello. Is that be comfortable? Oh, I need one more thing here, Patrick, before I look at your comment. Let's talk about the places. Yeah. Oh yes, yes, yes. Keep it. Yeah, you keep it moving, but keep it moving slowly. Like that's what I've learned. I as a child, I was quite. I was fast. I wouldn't say fast enough to win a track meet. Like I wasn't the fastest on the sports teams that I played, but I was maybe second fastest. I would have. I assume if I cared more about running, and as I've gotten older, it becomes more blatantly obvious. Oh man, the problem with having a beard and like a long mustache, it curls up and goes into my. If you ever see me, I do this, and you're like, "What are you fucking coke problem?" No, dude, I'm not rich enough to have a coke problem. And also, I don't like coke. Yeah, mine slower is better. So let's get into this. the the world economy. Man, there's so many ways of explaining this. Let me grab one more beer so I don't get sidetracked in the middle because this would be a little bit of a talk, I suppose, because I have to explain things that I've explained before. But for everybody that's new here, for you to get all the connections, it might take a couple minutes. Let me go do that. So the other day, I'm out and wondering what was going on in New Orleans that people were in droves out. There was maybe 50 to 100 people standing there chanting, and I couldn't really tell what they're doing. But it's French Quarter, it's busy, and I figured they're going to be there doing that for a student. I was just like, oh, so people are protesting something. But they seem to be everybody had a sign, they're very loud, and something was going on. And so I was just watching a video by, I don't know who the hell was it. One of the it's so funny I can't place his name right now because he's like a roast master. He's a comedian, one of the greatest comedians ever. But I don't know much of his stand-up material. I just know him as like crushing people, like just off the fly roasting people. What was his name? Anyways, so he was saying that he was woke up and found all of these people walking down the street and screaming about they're protesting something. And he had got to the point of saying, uh, it was about the Iranian government or the Iranian people and the Iranian woman that was supposedly beat or beheaded because she was wearing a mask, which we've talked about before. The whole how long has been the mask thing has been going on, like, and how it's so interesting in one direction from a religious standpoint, why people wore that, and then now for the last 2.5 years, the pharmaceutical corporations that have been trying to enforce that and what it does to things. Like we've discussed this fully, and I don't want to get into it from that standpoint. What I want to get into is the idea. Um, like I don't know whether it happened because of that government or if it's some propagated material. But let me suggest this to you: every war that we've seen publicized, every demonized country. Follow me here. Every demonized country. You could read a book called. Hold on a second here. You could read a book called what's it called? The Economic Hitman. Is that what it's called? Talks about how you destroy the economy of things that don't want to join the World Bank. But every war that's been waged on countries or private corporations, companies, institutions, that country is a company. And every war that we've seen, I guarantee you could look up the information out. Every one that has been demonized was not part of the World Bank. That's just a statement of fact. Is Iran part of Cuba and how we didn't have trade agreements with them and how Cuba was bad and we had to get rid of something there because they were evil somehow. They weren't part of the World Bank. Iraq, Iran, um, I mean, just look it up. There, I think I don't know how many are left. I think there's four or five left. But there was when I had studied this, there were six of them. And then if you look farther back, every major demonized society. I'm not saying any of them are right or wrong. I don't know. Oh, North Korea was one of them. Come figure that one out, huh? And they were somehow evil empires, and they were communists, and they treated their people badly. This is the whole. That's always the thing. And why people can't understand this, I don't get. If they say this is the propaganda that's being spread to their people, you don't think that propaganders is being spread to you? Misinformation. Your government's not capable of misinforming you about something because it's freedom and fight for democracy and get rid of the terror and all this shit. It's unbelievably naive to not comprehend that not only is the information you're being provided with on your television sets at least somewhat inaccurate, that maybe these other places are not as obscene and bad as you think. Because you realize, like, even within your community, if you live in the United States, they'll tell you these cities and this is crime rates of guns and this, and then they just pick out the countries, and oddly enough, every country that's sovereign and has no ties to the World Bank. Now, that is equated to saying, I own Walmart, and everyone goes shopping there, except for these tiny little stores, these tiny little mom and pop shops, we call them. In the last 2 years, if you didn't notice, those vanished because they couldn't pay rent because of something that was magically spread. Just, whatever that thing was. Yeah, no. And those became empty properties. Then who bought them up? People that were included in larger institutions, connected to other. They became like they became Starbucks. Do you understand what I'm saying? Walmart and Starbucks and these they 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 give you the worst possible thing. Like Walmart's cool in the sense that, hey, it's cheap. Cool. I like cheap stuff, and I need this and this and this, and I'm not going to pay for the hand quilted fibered gold trimmed toilet paper for $10 a roll over here when I can get it there for next to nothing, right? I don't need to pay a lot for my underwear and my t-shirts. I don't really care that much. But if you go to Starbucks, you're paying what, $7 for a caramel venti latte mocha primo whatever. Like, can I just get a coffee from a neighbor of mine for $1? I mean, you just go to walk in the store and get a coffee for $1 because it's like, hey, I don't, just a small coffee is fine. Now they're like, oh, can we put all the extra stuff in here for you? And it'll be $7, and we'll write your name inside the cup, and blah, blah, blah. It's the whole it's it's funny enough. Let me whisper this. It's capitalism. Wait, hold on. I'm supposed to whisper this. It's communism. This package of capitalism. Even though we know capitalism to be the ultimate kind of, like, what is that? That's rude. That's evil. You get more, everybody gets less. You deserve the most, I get the least. But communism is evil because that would mean everybody has to have the same thing. And that's not what that means at all. I don't know. I'm not defending either or. I'm not undermining the idea of banking systems. But you realize to have capitalism, what you need to have is a banking institution that is using maritime law which is the sea law, and put it onto land somehow, and then disguise it as money, and then capitalize capitalization to leverage money to be in the interest by flowing the currency water, the flow of money, the banks of the river, the banks own the water, the currency. They put that onto land to regulate and overlord your existence. And so we have to notice that all of these televised programs and war and whatever, how many of them are actual? Like, I'm not saying there isn't tanks from this country into that country. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying there's not people getting fighting and shooting. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying it's always they give you the work. Some of it is very, very, very staged, without question. I mean, take for instance, apparently in the world wars there was photographers. You know that, right? How did two armies coming out because they wanted to destroy each other? Because this obviously occurred. And some guy's like, "Hey, I'm just taking pictures here, guy. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot the camera guy." And no, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Come on, I mean, get your brain right. That's buffoonery. Where are we at here? What's up, F time? Starman. What up, Ziggy? Yeah. Um, Interesting. I never seen that the Starman, the Strawman. Interesting. It's it's just always strange to me that other people don't notice, like the the orchestration of it. I was listening to somebody talk earlier today about why you should never watch TV, which I've maintained is the wrong attitude to have. It's the wrong attitude to have because if you don't know what your enemy is plotting, how could you defend against it? I watch movies to be not to be entertained or entrained, but because there is certain people within the industry that show you something. They show you it's like playing poker. They're showing you their hand, and they're doing it on a very very small. Like, here, look over here. Here's the language. Look over here. We're showing you what the bad people are doing. And it's not necessary. I've always been on the side of I'll defend Hollywood, and I'll tell you why. Here's why I'll defend Hollywood because I've explained it to you before. If you even look at the map, the word medes, the media, comes from a place. Look on a map at 33 degrees. Now we'll use the globe model to use this to acknowledge this. But if I were to go on 33 degrees and go 180 degrees, like to the other side of the globe, across from where Hollywood, California is, it is. Go look up what it is. I've put out videos on this before, and you'll find a land, and it shows you who the medes, the fake medicine men were, the pharmaceutical people. And then you have Hollywood, which is called the Holywood, which is land of magic. And so the medicine men and the magic men went to war. It's the black and white hats, basically. That's what I believe it to be. And so they're casting spells at each other. And we just happen to be in the middle of it. So you have to know, and obviously, the people have infiltrated each other's camps to some degree. I mean, think about people that are telling you the truth most of the time. They can't always tell you the truth because it's like if you look at politicians even like they can't tell you everything because then that would be they're like, oh, are you on our team? Are you against us? They can't do that. So when you go look it up, I got 33 degrees on the other side. I forget what the exact latitude longitude is, but pretty easy to find out. Yeah, I mean, I always find it funny that like, why is everybody at war? Why is everybody a spy? What's Well, why not? Like it's that movie Warriors. Yeah, like hey, we can all come together and we can instead of having three different gangs, we can all just play on the same team, and that works better. Working in unison is like two. Here's something I learned in shop class in one of my tech classes. If I take one stick and I put it across, you can take a chopstick, put it across an area, say 4 inches. It will hold 10 pounds before it snaps. If I put two there, logic would tell you that it would hold 20 pounds. But in fact, it holds more like 30. Uh, but if you put three there, logic would tell you, well, that's 30 pounds. But even if I go on the math, that one is 10 and two is 30 and whatever, three will be like something like 100 pounds. So wouldn't it seem better to work in cooperation? Right, and always be at war. Like what the hell? What the hell is that gaining? I don't get it. Just a simple man. Hmm. So did you guys get the part earlier? Sorry, I keep doing this because I do have this one curly thing. I do not have a mustache. I do not have mustache wax, and it keeps curling up that way. I don't like it. Okay. Did we cover everything about like World Bank, institutions, everything becoming a Walmart? You realize like when you're like this has to do with like the origination of a certificate of birth and all this that identifies you as a product of a corporation. That your pair of aunts, your parental figures, they didn't know what they do, but they didn't know what they did, but they literally sold you into slavery. If you have a birth certificate, you have a birth certificate and a certificate of live birth. I mean, they're slightly different, but what they did is when they go to the doctor, which is the doc, after the chip comes to birth, given birth through the vaginal canal, through the canal, the ship gives birth, goes to birth, and then they take measurements and weights and measures of what's on that, and they write down at the doc. So you don't think the doctor that gives birth to you and then signs a certificate is not calling you a product of a corporation, which is deeper. You have to understand again that the corporation means corpse. It means dead entity. It's a dead entity. It's not you. So you as an individual or a collective people, meaning that like when I say a tribe, a country, a sovereignty as a country, these countries are they do what they can not to be involved with the world banking system because then the world banking system becomes equivalent to being an employee of a Starbucks or a um, a Walmart or what have you, because as soon as they do that, then they have to follow the rules, laws, and obligations of that, for good or for bad. And again, I'm not against a one world governing system. I just think there's too much governance. It'd be nice if we got rid of the borders, but that would be great. But the idea is that, oh, it's called the Economic Hitman. That was the name of the book. If I got it wrong, sorry. Look up the Economic Hitman. He tells about how you go into and destroy a country's, you destabilize a country very easily. And the first thing you do, um, you you misinform them, and then you destabilize their dollar. And there's ways of doing that. The ways of destabilizing the dollar. You're watching it happen. You don't think this place is again, I assume most people here are from the United States. You're not watching that happen right in front of your face. What's up, Colin? Yeah, yeah. I mean, oh, Jordan Maxwell makes it. Yeah. Well, let me look at the fucking guy. Nothing against him because he is one of my favorite like teachers and whatever. He looks like he he looks like he eats spoonfuls of mayonnaise. He's not a healthy human being. There's nothing there's nothing encouraging about how he is at all. He looks like the state of depression. I get that. And I wasn't doing it for that standpoint. I'm doing it from the standpoint of larger you know what game is being played here. Like you're getting played if you're playing the game. And I've learned that very much recently by this great magician. So he's a card mechanic. And he can do things with cards that are. And I watch street magicians with cards every day, and sometimes I catch their moves. I can't catch anything he does. He could shuffle a deck of cards and deal any way. Any he it's obscene. His name is Jason D. What the fuck is his last name? I've sent if you guys are on my Instagram, I've sent you guys videos. And anyways, the point is he's shuffling the deck. He's playing the game. You don't the point of the sovereignty part is you don't play by the rules of the game. If I don't play I opt out of the game because if you play the game wins. The house wins, dude. Like you're not gonna win that game. What is there to be won anyways? Hmm. What's up, Just Frank? Where's real money, or do the same people run them all? Between the IMF, the World Bank, and the companies that insure them? Oh, that's an interesting question. I'll do a little research on that. I'm going to take on it. But I mean, insurance is the biggest scam next to the banking institution. But it's like it's it's kind of like it's kind of like that ten-headed beast or whatever. It's like religion fuels. Yeah, I mean, why is the Vatican what it is? Why does the Vatican have as much money as they do? Why did the Vatican pull their money out of other banks to put it back? Because they were investing in, you know. But the banking institution relies on the same kind of religious fervor as scientism does. It's like the reason people can't give up the idea that this world is not a spinning ball flying through space, but is a stationary, flat realm. They can't decipher that because they're indoctrinated so hard that they can't. It would ruin the entire illusion for them to what this place is. And you can't. So their scientism meaning what you'd call science. Because this woman came out 2 days ago and said, I don't know I forget exactly what she was talking about. And she said, literally, we own the science on that. That's like saying, in religion, you say, well, I know that Jesus is God. Somebody else going, I know. And we own the idea that Allah is God. And I know and we know that we wear silly hats this way because that's God. Yeah, that scientific, religious, banking, those are held together, And I don't know who's insuring a bank. I don't know if that's even a thing. Like how can you insure a bank, honestly? Because I mean, again, I got to this yesterday with you guys. Uh, how do you how do they maintain the farce? At what point um, at what point do they put this system where everyone is super poor or completely rich? Then how does money exist? How do taxes exist? Where does that go? It's like the super elite that have everything, and they don't have the people that are super poor. What are they going to do? They're not working, not paying taxes, they're not making money. Who's getting paid? There's no middle class left. I mean, we've been talking about this for years, and you're watching it happen. There's no middle class anywhere. So how's the insurance going to pay the bank? Melissa, what do you mean who passed away? What did I miss here? What did Melissa say? Who passed away? The FDIC created the Federal Reserves. Uh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so if banks have insurance, but that's I mean, insurance in general is a scam. This is obvious, but um, like that's the bigger part. It's like the system can only run. It runs into a problem at some point, which it seems like it is right now. Obviously, what's the next step in, because you're watching it happen. You're watching the entire system become unsustainable because, well, there's a number of factors that go into it, but how do you insure something that won't exist anymore? Taxes were only meant to be, Melissa. Taxes were only meant to be paid by the people who work for the government. I didn't know that. I mean, taxes comes from the word calendar, so the calends. So whenever you look up the word calendar, um, and the reason that we have the calendar is so they know the dates of tax collection and when to pay for things. Uh, but okay, here, look at a step further then. It's only meant to be paid for people who work for the government. We established earlier in the show that by being born, you are implicitly enslaved by the fact that your parents signed you over through a birth certificate to the doctor, which then puts you into a banking institution. Which well, who owns it? What government owns the banking institutions? Because the United States can't really own you, I guess. I'm trying to talk through this here, but nonetheless, that The 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 clause that must be understood though is you can't go into contract with anything until you're what 18 to be able of being contracted into something. So literally your first this goes into why like for 18 years like you're still a ward of the state because your parents signed you over. They just happen to be taking care of your physical body. Maybe some people were, some people weren't. But then it's like, oh, you gotta go do your own thing. But as soon as then you renew your straw man. It's yeah, the whole thing is circle jerking. Okay, born in the morgue. Let's talk about that in 1 second. Let me go piss real quick, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so being morgue in a born. Jason Morgue. Corporation disguised as countries. Yes, that's where. Well, go poop, dude. Go poop. I mean, like you need to or you want to. What's the difference here? Okay, you're not born in the morgue, but it's it's close. I mean, think about it. Think about natural organic birth. How does every animal give birth? Am I old enough where I gotta get one of those nose hairs trimmer thingies? Because that's really being fucking a nuisance right now. Hmm. Natural birth occurs how? Where are babies born? All over the world, besides humans. How are humans born? They take you to a place called a hospital. Interestingly, a hospital is a place you go when you're sick and takes care of dying people. It smells of death. It's sterile. It's a disgusting, filthy place. So why wouldn't there be a separate institution where you go to birth life into this world? And it should be flowers and this and that and like here's all of this and it's away from the death, destruction, despair, da da da. Wouldn't that be at least better? I'm not saying to go drop your baby onto the earth or have a water birth or get a doula or whatever. Like, yeah, those are all fine and dandy too. But shouldn't you at least separate that shit? Like a whole different thing? No, you go to a hospital to pay money to give a child into slavery. And at the same place where when you get older or when you're sick, you go to expire. Seems a little odd, wouldn't you say? What an odd way to just right. What up, Brandon? What you doing? Have I seen the YouTube channel Universal Magic Man? The guy some interesting work on Australia. Uh, Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I really like Jay Dreamer stuff. He just like I wish somebody could do Jay Dreamer's material a little I don't know, cleaner. A little I don't know what it is. There's something that's like he kind of like I get it. I talk a lot, but I'm usually saying something. I know. I'll check out. You said the Universal Magic Man. I'll check him out. Drop the field. Drop the baby in the field and go back to work, peasant. You should at least get cash back the placenta. Yeah. What do they do with that? Do they eat it? Do they put it in a blender? They must do something with it. What up, Slam away? What you doing? We digging into some. I don't know. Where the hell did this conversation start? What have we got into? We're getting to maritime while we're getting into birthing, hospitals. Um, see what direction to go with this. Waters, I think. I want to go outside, but I'm also just kind of relaxing in this very uncomfortable chair. Plus, I had to two for one on eBay. The DNA to clone you. How long do you think that's been going on for? Is eBay still eBay? Apparently, it's still a thing. I don't use it, but apparently, it's that's what I bought a couple things off there. I always felt like it was kind of like the weird pages of Craigslist where you weren't really sure if you were going to get what you were purchasing, or at least Amazon. There's this thing where it's like just fucking send it back if you don't like it. So that part of Amazon I appreciate. It's like Walmart and Amazon. I appreciate what they do. I really do. I don't. I have no problem with that. It just there just needs to not be that whole motivation for those type of corporations to do everything. Because you see how I told you earlier, and I'm gonna explain it one more way, that this is communism disguised as capitalism. And I'm not saying either one's better or worse. What I'm saying is, as they start to get rid of small businesses and then everything becomes one collective business, you'll only be able to go to what's the coffee shop? Well, now Starbucks is inside of a Walmart. You know what I'm saying? I can't go over here and see like Joe and Betty and say, hey, how's your day going? How's the kids and puppy? I get to go in where everybody's wearing the same shirt and saying, welcome to Costco. I love you. Have a good day. Like, I don't want that. Can I get a little bit of like personal hello, how you doing? What's going on? I don't need that. Like sometimes, yeah, I want to go to the robotic place. Sometimes I want to go to Costco. Sometimes I want to go to but that should be left in the open. But what they're trying to do is they're just trying to go collect everything. Get rid of the small businesses. That's more money for us. And what they're not getting is there's a point of saturation that the people that have invested into the corporations. I think Melissa, you sent me something on this, and I'm trying to define it a different way for you. Once they've collected enough of the small businesses, and they're the only business, then and they mechanize everything. They're the people that have invested in their stocks and were bonded to things. The valuation of the company will continually go down because they won't be able to support what they're doing anymore. Unless they give you a UBI. Oh yes, the UBI. Sounds like a UTI, huh? Unless they give everyone that, and even if they do, where is that coming from? Just to go grab your grocery items and shit? That's fine, whatever. But how do they support the system? Their value of their stock will go down. It will have to because each individual store won't be able to do more business because there's gonna be less people to purchase from them. Communism and Socialism of Canada. Interesting. I mean, I'm not. If someone like if you were to ask me like what's the difference between communism and socialism, I don't really know what that is. You'd have to explain it to me. I'm uninformed on the matter. To me, I think the dilemma is that more people are unaware of what communism even means and what capitalism means. If you understood what both of those things actually imply, you wouldn't be a big fan of either. Socialism seems a little better, as far as I can describe it, because socialism is, as far as I know, kind of an offshoot of what communism would be. But I also know the root words, community and social. So I like community and social. I don't like capital. I don't like the idea. So mean, yeah, Starbucks are inside of Target, exactly. Star, just Frank, thank you for this. Starbucks inside of a Starbucks. No, isn't wasn't I think it was what comedian's name? Black. Not Joe Black, not Jack Black, not Lewis Black. Where he said I felt like I was in an alternate dimension where he's like I was on a city block in New York and I'm on one street corner and there's a Starbucks and I look over my shoulder and I turn around and there's another Starbucks. I was like, and he's like, that's when I knew like the world is weird. Like literally a Starbucks here and here. Why? Because New York's so busy. I need an explanation of this. That I'm not walking across the street to get Starbucks here, and they're gonna make more profit that way. Because if you just have the one Starbucks, and I wonder if the same franchise owner has both of those. Well, let me yeah. Communism. Communism is a whole fist up your ass, and socialism is three fingers. Gotcha. Let's describe this in the correct way. You cannot have how to express this. If you get rid of fiat currency, if you get rid of currency, if you get rid of the way that economic systems and valuation of currency exist, then communism and socialism are way better. Capitalism can't really work. Capitalism would never be a thing if it wasn't for, as I put out there 1,000 million zillion times, the three I's: interest, inflation, and income tax. If you get rid of those three things, which are enforced by the banking institution, which can control not the complete term of economies and economics and how that functions really, but just the system of money. If we change the way money functions, then things would be way closer to socialism, like on an organic tip. They'd be closer to communism organically. There would be no capitalism. There would be I wouldn't have to walk down the street and see fucking this dude with a Lamborghini and this person with the $400,000 or $400 million mansion. You know what I'm saying? Like that wouldn't occur. People would be like, well, if you want that big mansion, all that responsibility, have fun. And as I very much fully explained, that some people do not get because their brain is malfunctioning. That your your perceived value, your your value as a human would change, and the things that you found valuable would change if we were closer to what the Venus Project describes. If we were closer to the Zeitgeist Venus Project, what you would find valuable would it if you were on the same terms. You having a cool car wouldn't make you a better. You'd be like, oh, that person is a high value person. You'd be like, that dude is just a fucking prick. Like the joke about people that drive. What's the difference between um, a porcupine and a Mustang? The pricks are on the outside of the porcupine. And no one would care about your car. And so therefore you wouldn't find there would be no intrinsic or perceived value in having a different type of home or car. It would change a whole lot in society. It would change the way it would be more Ubuntu. It'd be more tribal. You would just things would be as they are, and people would get up in the morning and everything would be on a square, level square surface. And you would go up to like I like gardening. I would go garden. I like playing with and taking care of farm animals. I like to I like tinkering around with electronics. I like doing you would just go do that and it would improve society. And there wouldn't be any pay for it because you would be provided for. And so your value, you would find music, your taste in music would change. Tapioca would be like 100. Everything just put in, yeah. Yeah, everything would change. I don't, as a big fan of studying hierarchies and psychology and philosophy and all the weird shit that I've ingested over the years, you know, through my eyes and my ears and some through my nose, and most of it through my mouth. Um, and some, when you listen, you have two ears because you should listen twice as much as you talk. That's what you have on mouth. But don't worry, I make up for that by talking twice as much as other people because they don't listen. But studying all of that through the years, it's very easy for me to see how people's value systems would adjust. This goes into the question. Hold on, let me go grab another beer. Right back. Let's talk about why people's value systems would adjust from a from a warm beer perspective. Hopefully, this does not do the thing that warm beer does sometimes. Oh, we're good. This has nothing to do with equality or sameness. It has to do with equanimity. Equanimity is different than equality. No one will ever be equal. You'll never be me. Sorry. And I will never be you. There's a lot of people that I admire because of not them as a whole complete person, but because there's qualities in them that I like. But that same person has qualities that I do not like. I don't, and there's people that you might look down on me because they suck some way, but you realize somewhere else in their life they're very good and proficient at something. That would start to dissipate if everyone was given the simplest things. That seems like in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the theory of, if you just think for yourself, if you were given the standard things, a roof, clothes, uh, food, these kind of like just the basic necessities of life, you would already be past those first three levels in Maslow's hierarchy, where you'd be already closer to like self actualization, and you would find everyone to you wouldn't look down upon a homeless person and say you're in a different caste or class, and you wouldn't look up to someone that had a bigger house and had all the bling bling and was like, yo, what up? You would see that person as what they are: obnoxious and weird and rude and hyperbolic. And you look at the other person and saying, man, can I get a little fucking assistance here? It's not a good go at it. I've got to meet so many different kinds of people and hear so many stories of people's upbringings, and you just go, damn, how are you even existing? Like I've heard some of the craziest stories. Like anytime I just, it's like you wouldn't be in a situation to have to worry about that, because after a generation or two, the last generation, right? Because it's going to build the next fruit, the next seed. They didn't have such a bad go at life, so they'd be better parents. And I forget who said this. I think it was Krishnamurti. He said, if you find parents that were never in love, they didn't like or love each other, they could never love the child that they had, so the child would never know love. They would have to, the child would have to learn it somehow. They'd have to go find it somewhere. But if those two people were, hear me out here completely. If those two people were taken care of equally, they would have never been together, because they would have never wanted to be together. Usually in a relationship, there's what's called a dominator submissive complex. There's a hierarchy of, hey, look at that guy's got $100,000 car. That's an upgrade for me. I will never have to worry about money. Versus like, hey, I really like that guy. He plays the guitar and makes me feel really good, and he's super funny and intelligent. But he only makes like $10 a day, and he struggles. And it's what do you choose? Now you have a very that's a that's an inorganic obstacle that animals don't have. We've put that inorganic obstacle of financial status into something that should be fully universally integrated within our spiritual soul being of who we interact with and why and how. That if you start people at the right place, things get better and the whole world becomes cleaner. People will pick up trash off the street. People fill in pot like the city ain't doing shit. Where I live, there's potholes everywhere. Some of the worst in the world. Seriously, go look up Reddit New Orleans, and you'll see like yesterday somebody fell into a pothole. When I say someone fell into a pothole in the middle of the French Quarter, they were neck deep. I don't know how they got in there, but there was a street cone there. This is somebody said they should replace they should replace the New Orleans fleur de lis. You know what fleur de lis is? They should replace that as the insignia. Wait, hold on, I'm not wearing that shirt. It's behind me somewhere. Anyways, They should replace that with a fucking, just an orange cone. And so there's an orange cone there, and this dude falls in, out of towner. They're near Bourbon Street, but how the hell do you just leave a pothole that's 10 feet deep? I mean, it's at least 6 feet deep. This dude was just swimming in there. He's trying to climb out. His friends are just laughing at him, and he's just drinking his beer, going, "What the fuck do you want me to do? Like, I'm drunk and I'm in a fucking pothole. That pothole would be filled. Is the point? That wouldn't just be left there like that. Yet the city has no incentive to fix it because they don't give a shit. That's not their goal. Their goal isn't to give a shit. Where were we going? This? Oh yeah, societal changes and let's see, economy, social values. What else? What else do you want to get into here? Anybody? Feel free to comment there. Oh, and speaking of economies, I do obviously abhor this simple idea that I must ask you. But if you'd like to, I'd really appreciate it. CashApp, PayPal, Venmo, it's in the thing right there in the description box. And then it also gives you my writings from 2012 on to 2017, I believe, on my WordPress. It gives you my Instagram. You can go read and all that shit. But if you want to, TSAR, capital XEN. Make sure you capitalize that shit. Um, yeah. So speaking of economies, yes, I hate that's something that wouldn't occur. I would see. Here's the thing: is I would still do this, and I'd probably do it in a better way because I wouldn't be like, oh, I only have fucking. I, this is what I'm going to put it in this little thing here. I don't have a stand anymore. I can't afford it. Blah blah blah. See, if I had those simple little things, this would be like me going, "Hey, isn't it a fucking great day? I can walk down the street and show you all this and share my knowledge." See, that would be the change. I was just afforded the simple little fucking things in life. You too, you know this. People, it's interesting to me too about people that I've seen. And we are talking about this yesterday, I believe, that the the homelessness epidemic and how that will cause people to become addicted to certain substances to deal with that. That would go away. There'd be no economy in that. I'm not saying people still wouldn't like the effects of smoking weed or doing maybe even doing meth. I don't fucking know. Drinking a beer. People still do that, but for different reasons and much less. But people do that to cope with as a coping mechanism. Like, what else are they going to do? I mean, they'll learn to go. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna get out of the body and blah blah blah. Like, yeah, for sure, for sure. They can learn that, but it would be much less. If these like I don't know how many people I see that I'm like they're just like if they were fed and if they had clean clothes and a shower and a place to sleep, they wouldn't be fucking sticking a needle in their fucking arm so they could take a nap for 3 hours on a park bench. We could rid that very easily, but that wouldn't be good to the system and play right now. And whoever came up with the system is a fucking psychopath. Let's fill the potholes with beer. Oh yes, yes, yes. If you donate over $50, I will tattoo your name on his bottom lip. I will not do that. No, I can't because I don't have my tattoo machines no more. I used to have 2 cases worth of tattoo machines. Can't do it, and I wouldn't anyways. I would tattoo. I would literally. I would tattoo something on my arm. I don't really care. Like that's fun. You can tell me with a tattoo. I wouldn't. I would have to take up a small amount of space. I could do that. I mean, let me sell my body like a prostitute. You know how there's that one web page on the internet that somebody made $1 million. They were selling 10 by 10 pixels for $100 or something, and they had like I don't know what the math was, but I think they made like $1 million or $10 million by selling like, here, I'll sell you this, and it's called, and the page is like, anybody know what I'm talking about? And then like they just printed this shit up and they said, here's the web page, and it's you click on it and it's every logo of McDonald's, you know, Starbucks, fucking whatever. And it was like, pay me one time cost. I put it here, and it'll be up for this many years. And dude made like 1 million. So I'll do that. I'll do that with my entire arm. I'll sell y'all space on my arm. How about that? And I'll go buy a tattoo. I'll go buy if y'all down with that. I'll tattoo myself. You've seen I tattooed this on myself. You guys see this? You guys seen some of my tattoos? I have nice handwriting. You can see that. Yeah, did it on myself. Anyways, what's up, Jason? What would I say is a good way towards happiness? Hmm. Happiness is an interesting word. First define happiness, and then I'll tell you. because the word happiness, and I'm not being pedantic. Is that the right word, pedantic here? And I'm not being, but ha- joyful, jovial, joyful happiness and contentment are different. And some people like be happy, Mhm. In a state of joy and euphoria. The closest way would probably be just do a lot of MDMA. You really, I mean, you really want to, you really want to get there. Perpetual, yeah. Um, go live at the beach, stare at the sunshine, get a tan, um, smell flowers if you can't get to the beach, be in a good climate, eat good food, I guess, fuck a lot, do all the things that you think that is. That would be it. But yeah, I mean, fasting is good because it will remove you from stagnation. At the least, if there's a way, if you eat too much, it's going to slow you down. That's why I drink. I mean, it's half because I like a buzz from alcohol, but I'd rather drink than eat. For somebody else, maybe eating a Big Mac every day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, perpetual orgasm though. I mean, I've been there a couple times in you know, that state of. I mean, obviously, drinking your urine will help a lot, but there's the dilemma with that is you can get to such an ecstatic state. It'd be like, how would you function? It, could you really function well in society if you took MDMA every day? I mean, have you ever? I'm sure you have. Have you ever taken? I don't know. What's your drug of choice? What's your thing? Coke? I don't know. Whatever that is, like to stay in that state and just walk around in complete blissed out joy. I don't think that's wise nor capable. I think you should try to be near there and try to not get into the depression state, which is hard to do. You still gotta move like this. Any good time is gonna it's just the state of the flux of the universe, man. Just the state of things. You have to be happy. You have to be depressed. Like you're not you're not gonna just be like, hey, everything's great. Oh, Jason. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Opiates. Yeah, I like. Do I have any left? Uh, I like kratom, but kratom has there's some kratom that are uppers and kratoms that are downers. Very interesting stuff. I like them sometimes. I like beer. I don't know. I'm pretty simple days. I mean, I've done most of the things, but yeah, the urine therapy. Oh, without question. It'll balance your body at least. At least it will balance you out. At least instead of you won't have highs and lows, you'll be at least you'll be in a more ecstatic state. But you can get really like ask anybody on here. I don't know who's on here now that knows very well, but most people that come here they know very well about drinking piss. And they know after doing a fast on it for a while that you get to such a heightened place that it becomes too much. Like you can't like when I did like an 8 day fast on just urine and water, and I was just like radiating where I would go out into public and people would just walk over to me and start talking to me. Like, I mean, I already get how I am. Like, and I'm a pretty fucking obvious person. But it was out of control. I was like, what am I supposed to do with all this attention? You start glowing. Like for real, people would just walk by me like, why are you glowing? That's real shit. Ask anyone that's done it, they'll tell you. But again, see, being on a high vibe like that is it's like, could you imagine just running your car at you know 8,000 RPMs all day, just sixth gear, going buck 20, like you're focused, you're in there, you can drive like that, but like sometimes you got to slow down, gas up, relax, take a nap. Just Frank Coke filled butt plugs. That's way too much, man. Stop all that. Oh, content rather than full of joy. Yeah, maintainable is that's a lot of the thing when people when you watch these people that do videos and they're always like, "Hi, how you doing? Love and light, everything is great." I'm like, "Brah," and it's usually not a brah. It's usually a chick, and she's usually good looking, right? Like, I know you're not on fucking cloud nine. I know you look good, and I know dudes give you attention, and you're probably, but you're no way on. Hi, you want to be how namaste, fucking you're it wouldn't it's not gonna work out like that forever. Like you know that because that chick, her channel is not gonna be online in a year, and she's gonna get old, and them gray hairs gonna start kicking in, and her titties are gonna fall, and her because she's a vegan, and her pussy's gonna dry up. That's not gonna work out, is it? And she's like, "Oh, but it was so good for a little while." It's kind of like whenever you do MDMA, right? You release the dopamine, the serotonin, the dopamine, so all that shit, and you get a spike of it. But like, where's the next hit coming from? Like, where's the next like you know, that's not. It's, yeah, fine, fine. The sustainability is better than like peaks of goodness and excitement are well worth it, obviously, or else we wouldn't do them. But you gotta realize they're gonna be balanced out by states of delirium, depression, disorders. As long as you know that, then they're easier to handle. Like whenever I go do some dumb shit, and I'm like fucking having that time of my life and dancing and whatever. If I go to the gym and work out, I know afterwards I'm gonna be tired. What the hell what do you want from me? That's how it works. Yeah, the glimpses are different than like it's like who was talking about this? I don't know where these came from. It was just two clips that came up. One was of he's a comedian, DeStefano. Is it Chris DeStefano? And the other was a clip of I don't know. Anyways, it was two comedians, and I for whatever reason they came up back to back as I'm like scrolling through some shit, and they both got really emotional about talking about this idea of like when you're famous, don't ever become. I don't know why I'm going down this route, but it was just something I seen. I thought it was really. I think it was really. It was like a genuine moment with people that are always like on, and they're just like they're doing and fucking always just cracking a joke, always being on. And they were talking about never becoming like I forget what the word I forget, oh I thought it was both two Chris's and Chris Delia. Yeah, and he was just talking about how when people start to adore you, they adore, and this is going to what you're saying here, Melissa. I'm gonna try to make this connection if I can. Might take a little bit. I'm gonna stumble on this one. But like, don't when you meet somebody in real life, they're never gonna be what you expect. And when you become somewhat of a celebrity, people will love you without even knowing you. And then the word is resentment. You'll resent them. Like, why are you liking me? And you'll resent them to the point where you have to like go every like I've done this too. I've done this is something I'm doing. If people like me so much, and then I'm like, let me give you 10 reasons to hate me because I don't like how much you like, me, which is a type of resentment. And they're talking about that in a way that stay away from resentment. Just accept what you can. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. Um, like when you just look into and see you get a glimpse of something. It's like window shopping, and you say, "Oh, I love that thing." This is what I'm getting at. So you say, "I love that thing," but then you get it, and then you don't even play with it. You don't even know it. It's like what do you think? What do you think this whole package is? What do you think it all is? And that's the thing that I find. And this also flows into that, like you see people on this. I give the best. Here's the best version of me is I'm gonna burp. I'm gonna look like this. I'm gonna wake up in the morning. I don't even comb my beard. This is it. That's what you get. So at least I'm being as authentic as possible on camera, which I think it's a very noble quality. Like if you were to meet me in person, it's pretty much like this. I'm not putting on a fucking fancy suit and how you do, and I'm not gonna fucking dance and do some bullshit for you. Hmm. People find this what is it about people's need as we keep evolving this topic here? What is it people's need to be acknowledged and desired? I mean, it's weird to me because I go through these phases where I could probably go out and scoop up chicks without even a question for months on end. And then all of a sudden, I just I couldn't get paid if I tried, and I'm in one of those right now. I don't know what to do. Like it'd be nice to, have a nice thing to, get out my frustrations on and cuddle and be nice to and whatever. Like I don't know, but it's it's like finding that. I'm trying to make a map of something here for you. It's like I don't think I'm any less desirable, but like what occurred where I can't get laid, and why does everybody desire? Why does everybody want that? And I think it's very interesting too because I also don't like a lot of attention. My introversion, like I don't like, there's people that I know that are really good singers. They're good at whatever, and they're musicians, and they're introverted. But whenever they're playing, they're like, I'm like, do you notice like everybody fucking adores you? And they're like, no, because they're just playing the music. They go into this little fucking zone that I was talking to my buddy. Not, it's funny, another dude named Chris, Chris Daly or Chris, whatever the other one is. I saw dude Chris that was playing the other day, and I was like, how how good you are? Why aren't you doing it more than like right here? Like, why aren't you like touring more? And he's just so like, well, I don't know. He's like, he doesn't. I think he's just kind of shy and doesn't want the attention. Yeah, yeah, he knows he can play this, and it's an easy way to make money. It's a very interesting dynamic between people wanting attention, needing attention, and people that don't want attention. It's a I don't know where I was going with any of that story, but I was funneling through some thoughts there. Yeah, Jason, there you go. Krista Stefano. There it is. Come on, Twilight Zone. Chronic digressions. Oh shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, we'll get into that, Jason. You knew somebody that was happy and bubbly all the time and had a yep. Let's get into that one. That one's always a good topic of understanding for people. Hold on. Let me see what my charger is doing here. Uno momento, por favor. Ah, damn it. I gotta if anybody wants to, feel free to send me a couple dollars so I get a new cord. Because this shit is not working so well. Yeah, the people that are always bubbly and happy, they're called smiling depressives. It's like show some fucking emotion. If you're mad, be mad. If you don't like something, say fuck you. If you like something, say oh that's amazing. Like don't just they put on this shine, this sheen, this they put the mask on, man. They put the whole fucking thing on. They're like, I gotta be always nice to everyone. No, you fucking don't. You don't have to like everyone. You don't have to like everything. And the people that are doing that are the ones that they'll do self harm and they'll harm others. So what you do is instead of building up all that, deal with it in the moment. You know, it's like people like so the greatest people I know are they're feeling oriented, not emotion oriented. And I'd like to make a distinction there. Feeling oriented means I feel something, so I respond to it. It's not an emotion that I'm responding to that because like if someone punches me, I've been punched by people that like me, people that don't like me, for humor, for whatever. And to me, it's the same thing. I've been made fun of by people that are disgusted with me, that people want to hurt me, and I've been made fun of by my best friends. You know what I'm saying? You have the so what you learn to do is go. Well, it's just a feeling like I'm laughing at that. Should I be like enraged or whatever? And some people they'll take all of these things and store it up, and rather just in the moment, just going, hey, I feel like this, like let me, like, like fucking, it's like this. They don't do that. They've been conditioned to. Um, I think it was your it was your boy. Here, let's talk about beer for a second. Talk about alcohol. The dude's channel's name, and go look him up if you don't know him. But if you've been on here, you should already know. His name is Soul. What the hell is his name? Soul fucking something. Indian dude. Hello guys. Anybody hear me out here? Soul voice. There you go. And you go, hello guys. And it's so fucking funny. Right? And he talked about alcohol. And he goes, I did not used to drink. I did not know about alcohol. And then he goes, but then I found out like alcohol is it. There's a reason that it's if I take and put rubbing alcohol on my skin, it removes heat. If I drink alcohol, I'm letting off steam. You decompress yourself. It might like to some people like alcohol is like the devil, but it's also a cooling mechanism. It allows you to when you go to the bar, what do? You become more expressive. You talk more. You speak. You hug. You everything becomes more magnified about people's personalities, which is a good thing. And people that don't drink, I find to be people that behind doors they clench and they have no, that's no good. People need to express themselves more. You prefer just to be noticed. Okay, I get you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, F-Town, I hear you. It's authentic, like introverted friend playing their music and started doing what the, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad you understood me. That was one of the most I felt like I was talking like Joe Biden some shit like I know fucking I'm gonna say a beer can and Kleenex and poop in my dirty diaper. Welcome to the stadium. Thanks for being. I felt like that for a second because I couldn't quite place what I was trying to say. Thanks, thanks for understanding. Being made fun of is never a nice feeling. I don't know. F10, I find it very humorous. Like because if there's something very noticeable, like about someone's character trait, and if someone cracks on me about something that I'm very well aware of, it's funnier to me because I'm like, oh, you just noticed? Like, come on, like catch up here. Yeah, Melissa, smoking helps release negativity. Well, there's two reasons for that. And I was talking to one of my friends that used to read cards in the quarter, and they would always, after doing a reading, smoke a cigarette. And I was like, "But you don't smoke?" And they're like, "Nah, we don't smoke." Like it was two of them, and never seen them smoke ever. But do a reading and smokes afterwards, like because I have their energy, and I've just done this thing, and now I have to get rid of it. So that's one reason. There's something from a chemical standpoint, and also it makes you breathe differently. Think about it. The only time you breathe like that is when you go, like, think about it. When's the last time you just went like that? I mean, I do that all the time, but Jason, Alcohol makes you feel sick. Any advice? Um, so one of my favorite teachers said that his grandfather told him, well, let's see how to explain this. Um, are you sure it's not the other things? Let's start this way. You might just have other things in your body that it's not working well with. Like maybe you ate something bad and you have something that doesn't like it. Like for instance, drinking turpentine sounds insane, right? But if you have worms in your system, if you have like little parasites and things that shouldn't be there, they're not going to like that. And you're not going to like drinking turpentine. Uh, I don't mind it, but then again, I've killed most of those things. So those things don't combat me. So turpentine, which is, I'm using equivalency here. Maybe it's not the alcohol as much as maybe you ate some bad pork and that's sitting there rotting in your stomach. And it's not the alcohol itself, it's and I've always given this example of like, you ever see these old guys that live to be like 100 years old and they were always drinking the whiskey and the fucking this and that and smoking cigars? And my assumption is that they probably had a decent diet. And then other people go, they expire. They go, oh my uncle was like an alcoholic and he died at like 60. I'm like, yeah, but what did he eat? He died from liver cirrhosis because alcohol causes it. I'm like, I don't think that's how that works. Yeah, like they get what's called a fatty liver. How would you get a fatty liver? There's no fat in here. What do you what do you think's transpiring here? No, what they do is they drink this and then they go out and they'll get some fried food, cholesterol, fats, fried, homogenized, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, like, I think that might be the problem. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying about like, it's not, you can't just, there's no good way of explaining anyone's any single substance, whatever it is. You can't define someone's diet based upon one thing because they're not doing one thing. Their diet includes how much sunshine are they getting? When's the last time they took their shoes off and put it on the ground? When's the last time they ate onions or garlic? When's the last time? I mean, how much raw pork do you eat? You know, there's these things go into it, so you can't sing. People trying to single out a specific, a specific cause. You know how many people die from just stress? You know how many people like there's so many things that go into it. I would say just go get fucking go get drunk and puke. Like I'm being literal here. Get drunk and puke. Consume something that will make you vomit. Maybe there's something that is not right in your system until you get the bad poopy pants. Like drink until you take a good diarrhea because maybe it's going to, because alcohol, if you didn't know, what it's doing is eating up, it eats up sugars and carbohydrates. You know how you make these things. Like what do you think it's doing in your system? And it will rid you of that. So maybe just have a good throw up, have a good shit, have a good cry. I mean, that's the equivalency. Have a good, you know, try that out. Just Frank, drink until it doesn't make you sick. Exactly. and also take life a little less serious. Like I find it pretty fucking funny. Like like sometimes whenever I do something, they're like people will say to me like, you're so fucking smart and brilliant. Why are you like this? I'm like, I'm like this, which makes me smart and brilliant. A fool in his folly becomes wise. That's kind of the attitude. Also, don't be so serious. Well, I mean, what are you drinking though, Jason? Oh, yeah, fasting is difficult with parasite activities. Yeah. Yeah, I mean the liver. You can, yeah, Melissa. I get you. The fear, the guilt, in the liver disorders. Yeah. Yeah, don't they? Hey, thank you, Frank. What do they say? Get pissed drunk and piss yourself laughing. Yeah, I mean, go for it. Just go. I mean, like, do you know how frequently people in this city? Hold on one second. Seeing what this charging is doing. Ah, damn it. Let me see if this works. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see if it's the plug. Don't know why that would change my feel. Hopefully it does. Cable charging. Well, I know the cable is charging. Man, this is terrible. Give me a second, y'all. Is anybody here a computer whiz kid? Can you overcharge a cable? Can the charger get too hot or some shit? Maybe. That could be a thing. I should know a little more about this. Oh, this is fucking the gayest right now. Seriously. Do I have to grab another charger? This is so lame. All right, I might have to cut the show in a few minutes and go buy a charger. If anybody wants to help me, let me see. Yeah, mushrooms will help that for sure. Mm. Hey, check it out though, everybody. I have to go get a new charger because, well, at least a new cord. What the fuck do you? Anybody want to help me with this? Where do you think I get one at? I don't want to overpay. Hmm. But I won't be able to do the show anyways if I mean maybe they burnt the cord out. I don't know why that would happen, but it's not working. So here. Have a beautiful day. Remember, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo if you want to. Tell me out a couple bucks so I get so I get a cord, my charger, and yeah, all that bullshit. Hopefully I'll find it soon enough and I can come back and talk to you guys. But for whatever reason, this is not charging. It's good to see everybody. Stay weird. Remember the three rules. It's be a big, be big, be a faggot, and don't be gay. How about that? Wait, is that right? No, oh, no. The three rules were be kind to yourself because you're the only you. Do that thing. Be whatever you are, and help out when you can. And if you can help me, that's the greatest because I'm me. And obviously, I like having assistance. And if you can't help me, help someone else. Have a beautiful day. I'll chat with y'all later. So, sorry I can't keep the show going because it's been fun. But I gotta roll. I gotta go find this thing. Bye, bye, boogers.